I want to start off by giving all praises to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shah by Hashem, Rakak Kadesh. Double honors to the elders and apostles, great millstone that taught me it's true. Um, just I'm gonna open this one up with Sarat, alright, the 10th chapter, 8th verse. Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches gotten by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. Alright. And was gonna do a one on this whole Sundown town thing in Levitttown. So what? Um, this is from the book How White Folks Got So Rich: The Untold Story of American White Supremacy. Alright, new edition, updated and suspended. Alright, and I'm gonna read the 68 page and a little bit of the 70. Alright. It says literally hundreds of American towns, many of them in the North, passed orders prohibiting blacks from living in them or from being in town after sundown. So if you was a person of color, you had to get out of town before the sun set. Right? But generously allowed maids, gardeners, and sanitation workers times to leave at night. Alright, so if you was working for them, that was the only reason you could be in town at night. They came to be known as sundown towns, and some of them actually had bells or horns that would signal when blacks were required to vacate. Alright, so that kind of puts you in the mindset of the purge. Alright, they literally had a bell or a horn going off to let you know to get out of town. Alright, the largest builder of these segregated towns in the post World War II era was William Levitt, alright, who built four master towns forbid the very presence of any person other than members of the Caucasian race. Alright, the massive suburbs home building project called Levittowns built homes at a rate of 30 a day. But the Jewish real estate developer actually went to court to keep blacks out. Alright, and you know it said Jewish. Alright, so that means it's getting into the 1948ers. So they played a big part in this whole, sundown town and keeping blacks out, white only neighborhoods and all this stuff. Alright, they was one of the biggest parts. They built the community. Alright, alright. But one young black family that was able to purchase a home in Levitttown was subject to a month-long terror campaign to drive them out. And I'm pretty sure they somehow bought the town without the people knowing what color they was, or else they wouldn't even been able to buy one. Whites burned crosses and smashed windows and subjected blacks to round-the-clock white terrorism. All right. Republican Bill O'Reilly was raised in Levitttown, Long Island. All right. Builders like Levitt and many others worked with a discriminated realtor and banks to ensure only whites could invest in prime real estate. This discrimination increased white home ownership wealth as property values rose exponentially after World War II. And the equity in their homes allowed them to help their children secure property. Today, about 72% of white families own a home, and 46% of them with help from their families in making down payments. So that is another reason there's such a big gap. The white families, who we know as the Edomites, so-called whites, had enough for help to where they could help their family out. So that's how their kids got their homes. Alright, and make their homes. Compared with just 12% for blacks. 41% of whom are homeowners, down from a peak of nearly 50%. in 2004. So this is letting us know that the percentage of blacks that are homeowners dropped greatly in the last few years. All right, now I'm gonna bring up this map because this is something that caught me off guard. This is the map of sundown towns. You know, the towns that blacks want allowed in. And what really surprised me the most about this list is that I expected all these towns to be in the South. Whereas you can see there are quite a few in the South, but the majority of these towns were in the Midwest. It was up north. All right. And that's something I really didn't know. I'm pretty sure a lot of people didn't know it. This is Sirach, the ninth chapter, and I'm gonna start at verse 11. Alright, even not the glory of the sinner, for thou knows not what should be his end. Alright, so this is letting us know that Israelites, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans shouldn't be imminent Edomites. Alright, wanting their glory. Delight not in the things that the ungodly have pleasure in, but remember that they should not go unpunished unto their graves. So for everything you do, eventually you gotta pay for it. Keep thee far from the man that has power to kill. So should thou not doubt the fear of death. If thou come unto him, make no fault, lest he take away thy life prisoner. Remember that thou goes in the midst of snares, and thou walkest upon the battlements of the city. So, there's a bunch of snares set up for our people. Alright, so we shouldn't be trying to get in these neighborhoods anyway. I remember I think it was a few years ago, it was the rapper T.I. and he couldn't get into his own home because they wouldn't let him in. Alright. And I'm like celebrities can't even get into their own homes in these neighborhoods. We shouldn't even be trying to live in these neighborhoods. We should be making our own stuff, having our own neighborhoods, being with our own people. But I know this is not the time for that. All that's going to happen after the destruction of America, Babylon the Great. But it is still better for us to stay our distance as much as we can, all right, so that we don't end up in these kind of situations where they burning crosses and things in front of your house. All right, now go over to this. I just pulled up the definition of sundown town from the Wikipedia. Sundown town, also known as a sunset town, or what's this say? Summer downer towns, are all white neighborhoods in the United States. Practice a form of racial segregation by excluding non-whites. All right, so that was pretty much what our white town is. Some combinations of discrimination, local laws, intimidation, or violence. All right, so pretty much letting you know, Edomites really, really did whatever it takes to keep Jake out their neighborhoods. Even though Jake, from time to time, still tried to be a part of their neighborhoods. Alright, I'm gonna read a few more scriptures. Then I got a short clip from a video I'm gonna play. Alright. This is Ecclesiastes, well, Sirach chapter 4. And I'm just gonna start at the top on this. Alright. My son, defraud not the poor of his living, and make not the needy eyes to wait long. Make not an hungry soul sorrow, neither provoke a man in his distress. Alright, guys, I'm not reading this. I know this is about, people who might be homeless or whatever, that needing help, whatever. But when I seen that, I was like, this kind of fits our people, in our distress. They was steady kicking us while we was down. Add not more trouble to a heart that is vexed, and defer not to give to him that is in need. Reject not the supplication of the afflicted, neither turn away thy face from a poor man. Turn not away thy eyes from the needy, and give him no occasion to curse thee. For if he curse thee in the bitterness of his soul, his prayers should be heard of him that made him. So, if Israel, curse him in the bitterness of his soul, his prayers should be heard of him that made him. All right? They're going into your house. Get thyself the love of the congregation and bow thy head to a great man. Let it not grieve thee to bow down thy ear to the poor and to give him a friendly answer with meekness. Deliver him that suffers wrong from the hand of the oppressed, and be not faint hearted when thou sittest in judgment. Be as a father unto the fatherless, and instead of an husband unto their mothers, so should thou be as the son of the Most High, and he should love thee more than thy mothers. Wisdom exalt her children and lay hold of them that seek her. He that loves her loves life, and they that seek to her early shall be filled with joy. So I say, if you go out for wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, you live life and you're going to have joy in life. Now, I'm going to hit this one more, show this video, and come back with the closing scriptures.
White picket fences, clipped hedges, well-maintained lawns. From the outside, it looks like the American dream. But what the community of Levitttown was built on doesn't include all Americans.
The builder Levitt had in his deeds something that said this property can only be sold to Caucasian people. Now, we have to remember, those deeds were approved by the federal government.
Dolores and Erwin Quintine experienced this government-approved racist policy firsthand when they went looking for a home in Levitttown in the 1960s.
The guy said, "You knows what, you get your out of here because we don't sell the."
Established 1947, but how Levitttown was established has an effect on American culture today, not just in Levitttown, but nationwide. William Levitt built the first mass-produced suburb in the country, and what happened in this 17,000 home development set the standard for thousands of communities coast to coast.
The only way that Levitt could build that subdivision was by going to the Federal Housing Administration and the Veterans Administration, getting a bank guarantee for the loans to buy the land and build the homes.
But the banks blocked out in red on maps neighborhoods that had even one black person living there and refused to make loans there. It's why Levitttown said no to black buyers at all.
We went to the office where the gentleman was showing the houses. So my husband said to him, my wife and I are interested in, purchasing a home here in Levitttown. He said, "Get your out of here."
Richard Rothstein is one of the foremost researchers on housing discrimination in the U.S.
The federal government even required Levitt to place a clause in the deed of every home in Levitttown prohibiting resale to African Americans or rental to African Americans. Those deeds are still in the homes today. They can't be removed.
They're no longer enforceable, but there it is, not to permit the premises to be used or occupied by any person other than members of the Caucasian race. Louise Casano has lived in Levitttown since her parents brought her here in 1951, and she and her husband bought their home here 13 years later.
I don't doubt that a number of people bought into the community for the reason that it was Caucasian only. I have never heard of any incidents in this community where people of color have been abused in any way.
But there may be a reason for that. Even today, just over 1% of Levitttown residents are black. Just under 84% are white.
That's the...
All right, so that's what they did, and this caused a big wealth gap because of, like I read in the book earlier, that the equity of the homes went up so greatly that at that time, um our people, so-called blacks, um Judah, Southern Kingdom of Israel could afford went up greatly. All right. Now this is Jeremiah, and I'm gonna start at the 31st verse. Behold, I am against thee, O thou most proud, said the Lord Yahweh of hosts, for the day is come and the time that I will visit thee. Alright, so pretty much, it's gonna come a time where they gonna have to pay for all this stuff. Because they thinking it's just everything can just keep going on like normal and it's gonna be alright. But the problem is they have had too big of a head start. That's a long time. You hold a group of people down for over 400 years, and then okay, you know, we we raising now. It's all equal. It's all good. That ain't gonna work. And the most proud should stumble and fall, and none shall rise him up. And I will kindle a fire in the cities, and it shall devour all round about him. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the children of Israel that's going into the northern kingdom, Latinos and Native Americans, and the children of Judah, and that's the southern kingdom, so-called blacks, were oppressed together. And all that took them captives held them fast, and they refused to let them go. The Redeemer is strong, and the Lord of hosts is his name. He should thoroughly plead their cause, and he might give rest to the land and disquiet the inhabitants of Babylon. A sword is upon the Chaldeans, said the Lord, and upon the inhabitants of Babylon, and upon her princes, and upon her wise men. And we know this sword is going into war. A sword is upon the liars, right? A sword is upon her mighty men, and they should be dismayed. So pretty much a sword is being prepared, right? That's these missiles is getting prepared. World War III is being prepared. A sword is upon their horses and upon their chariots and upon all the mingled people that are in the midst of her, and they shall become as women. A sword is upon her treasure, and they shall be robbed. So this is letting you know the times that we are into. The mighty men are going to become as women, and that is your man of war. The horses and chariots. That is your instruments of war. All right, they are not going to be able to help Babylon the Great in this time. A drop is upon her waters, and they shall be dried up, for it is the land of graven images. And that's the false images, that's going into that Islam and that plantation Christianity. White man Jesus, all the false images that Babylon promotes, yeah, Santa Claus, the Easter Bunny, all these idols, and then all this secret worship of these old ancient pagan gods that people don't even realize they doing with the Statue of Liberty and all that kind of stuff. And they are mad upon their idols. All right. And the water's also going into this economy going down, drying up. Therefore, the wild beasts of the desert and the wild beasts of the islands should dwell there, and the isles should dwell therein. And it should be no more inhabited forever, neither should it be dwelled in from generation to generation. And that's going into that nuclear destruction that's destined to hit Babylon the Great. All right, and it's saying, as the power overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah and the neighboring cities thereof, said the Lord, so should no man abide there, neither should any son of man dwell there within. So pretty much this whole place is going to be turned into just a wilderness. All right, and I'm gonna end this one with a lot of people' favorite scripture, Psalms 137, and I'm just gonna read verses 7 through 9. All right, remember, O Lord, the children of Edom. All right, so this is how you know this is talking about the present day Babylon. It's a remember, O Lord, the children of Edom. And this is the first time Edom has ruled Babylon. In the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, even to the foundation thereof. So forget it, right? Destroy it all the way to the foundation. Don't leave no part of Jerusalem or the Hebrew Israelites of our heritage. Destroy it all. Right? And then it goes into O daughter of Babylon. So it just said in the top verse, remember, O Lord, the children of Edom. And it's saying, O daughter of Babylon. So that's how you know Edom is running present day Babylon, who ought to be destroyed. Happy should he be, the reward is dear as thou hast served us. Happy should he be that taketh and dashes thy little ones against the stones. And with that, I'ma say, Shalom.